Another day, another Reform MP making a fool of themselves. This time she couldn't even keep quiet long enough to let anyone else speak, but buried in the chaos, she slipped and revealed something far darker than her usual rambling.
The plan was to come onto the platform, according to popular rumour, that you were going to wear a turquoise burqa.
I was just making the audience laugh. It's always good to come on with a little bit of a joke,
But
bit
you were
light-hearted.
persuaded not to, weren't you, by Richard Tice?
We had a bit of a giggle about it. We have a lot
Is
of...
it something to giggle about, though? Because,
Oh, you know
I know
what?
that was your first PMQ's question.
Yeah.
But again, if you had done that, you might got off a big round of applause in the hall, but the rest of the country would have looked on and thought, what on earth?
Ian, there was no way I would do that. And you know as well as I do that when you're giving a big speech like that, it's good to have a little bit of humour.
Who took the crown of being the thickest MP from 30p Lee, it is Sarah Poachin, and as usual we get what passes for serious debate in Reform. Shout everyone down and then pretend that you've won the argument.
Well, this would have been an opportunity for Reform to lay out some policies.
Which we did.
Well, not really.
We absolutely did. We're going to leave the ECHR. We're going to repeal the Human Rights Act. We're going to be the only party that sorts out this invasion of illegal migrants. What have you done about that? What have you actually done about the illegal migrant invasion? Nothing.
We've negotiated a deal with France.
No one's gone back. Nobody's gone back. And then your new Home Secretary stopped the deportation flight on day one.
They're already being detained.
Come on, Rosie, no one's gone back.
Anyway, but
they could have gone back by now. If you were serious about it, you've been in government for a year, you've done nothing.
We processed...
In fact, processed where?
Twice
where have they gone? They haven't gone back.
Okay, let Rosie speak.
And of course it's the usual stuff. Defending the indefensible, convicted racists, pandering to anti-vax conspiracy theories. They want to be taken seriously, but surround themselves with people who belong in the fringes.
We did have Lucy Connolly on the stage, but of course for somebody like me who's going to take the justice brief, I'm very concerned about the two-tier justice that I speak a lot about that we're experiencing at the moment. And Lucy Connolly, yes, she did do something foolish, but the sentence...
Well, what did she do?
But hold on, let me finish.
You said she did something foolish. What did she actually do?
Well, we all know what she did. She put out a racist...
Tell people.
She put out a tweet. No, Dan, let me speak.
But what did the tweet say?
My point is it's about two-tier justice.
What about the... Asim Malhotra, who, as Dan just said, has made ridiculous accusations about how Prince Charles got his cancer through the COVID vaccine. Again, how can anyone take a party seriously that platforms a man like that?
Well, look, I had all my COVID vaccines. He wasn't speaking as a reform policy.
He was on your platform.
He wasn't speaking for reform policy. He was giving his opinion.
And normally this video would stop there, would have a bit of a laugh, and would move on to the next one. But something she said, only in passing, has thrown up a massive red flag that everybody needs to see. When trying to defend convicted racists, she said this.
I was a magistrate for 20 years. The sentence she got for what she did, she should have been rehabilitated in the community, not sent to prison and given a 30-month prison sentence. And we know that there are far more serious offences that get far less
But
of a
why have her on the
sentence.
conference platform?
Well, I think the point is it highlights two-tier justice, and certainly
You had a convicted racist on your platform who suggested that people should burn down migrant hotels. That is not the act of a serious political party.
When we get into power, one of the things that will be a priority for me is to regain control from the judiciary of the politicisation of the judiciary. That will change.
What about the party?
When we get into power, one of the things that will be a priority for me is to regain control from the judiciary of the politicisation of the judiciary. That will change.
What about the...
And then topped with this.
We're going to leave the ECHR. We're going to repeal the Human Rights Act. We're going to be the only party that sorts out this invasion.
Now this is really dangerous because they also have that clear policy of leaving the ECHR. Now, if you don't know what this means, well, it means the judiciary isn't supposed to be controlled by the government. Courts are independent by design. The second politicians get their hands on them, justice stops being blind and starts being political.
A fundamental principle of separation of powers is a cornerstone of our Constitution. What that means is that there should be a division of responsibility between those who make the laws and those who are responsible, like me, for adjudicating on difficult points of law. And the Constitutional Reform Act of 2005, by establishing the Supreme Court, made that expressly clear.
In the UK, the Parliament makes the laws and the judiciary interprets and applies them. Separation exists precisely so no arm of the government can overreach. Politicians can't just decide what outcomes are in court. When she implies that Reform UK Limited should wrestle back control of the courts, she's basically saying that they want to collapse that separation. Even the European Convention on Human Rights would already strip away the backstop of protections. Freedom of speech, which also means they would have then full control of the media, fair trial rights, and protection against arbitrary detention. Combine that with the political interference in the judiciary, and you remove both the external safeguard, the ECHR, and the internal safeguards, which is the independent courts. The defence of Lucy Connolly, convicted racist, only works if you accept the fantasy that there is two-tier justice system run by a shadowy elite. But if courts were generally controlled by politicians, that's when you'd actually get a two-tier system. Friends of the regime walk free, opponents are punished. Her own point completely unravels under scrutiny.
I'm very concerned about the two-tier justice that I speak a lot about that we're experiencing at the moment. And Lucy Connolly, yes, she did do something foolish, but the sentence.
Well, what did she do?
But hold on, let me finish.
You said she did something foolish. What did she actually do?
Well, we all know what she did.
No,
she put out a racist.
Tell people.
She put out a tweet. No, Dan, let me speak.
What did the tweet say?
My point is it's about two-tier justice. So the sentence. I was a magistrate for 20 years. The sentence she got for what she did, she should have been rehabilitated in the community, not sent to prison and given a 30-month prison sentence.
That she deleted.
I'm not comfortable with incitement to violence. Are you?
I don't see that as incitement to violence. You see that NECAP said go and kill an MP, Conservative MP, and nothing happened to them.
She encouraged people to go and burn down asylum hotels. How is that not incitement to violence?
There was no proof that anyone acted on that tweet, and I'm not comfortable.
So what? Just because so what? That's not how the law works.
Once that's done, laws stop protecting citizens from the government and instead protect the government from its citizens. So let's just say this plays out. Reform get their way. They scrap the ECHR, strip out your human rights protections, and then, conveniently, they control the courts. Suddenly, any opposition voice can be silenced. Protest becomes criminal. The political opponents find themselves behind bars. Does that sound familiar? Does it really? Because I know people don't like to hear it, but it's exactly what Hitler did in the 1930s. He consolidated power after 1933, dismantled independent courts, criminalised opposition, and turned the judiciary into an arm of the regime. This is really scary because we are on a path to authoritarianism, and I really can't say that word. So if Reform's slip expose the darker truth about their agenda, the next question is simple. Why do the media keep treating them like a serious party at all? And will any other media outlet take a leaf out of Lewis Goodall's book and hold them to account? Because at the end of the day, they're in trouble with Reform as much as the rest of us are.